Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Israel with another Shabbat class, and we want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. As we go through the scriptures, we are still dealing with the tribulation, the wilderness. How will we know that we're going to make it into the wilderness? I mean, when do we know when it's time to go? So we're doing this today, and we thank everyone for joining us this evening. You know, as we cut on the PowerPoint presentation, I wanted to tell everyone how happy I was that, you know, we were able to have the kind of class that we had last week. However, we have a lot of things to go over this week that we really have to talk about, you know, that I want to be able to make sure that, you know, the people are able to see and to get their opinions out, because we got to be able to bring this to the front and let the people know what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my screen, and there's something that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get a chance to talk about last week. And that is, remember we talked about there's more than one wave going to go into the wilderness. So I'm getting ready to put this up there so you can view it and let me know if you can see the screen. And I haven't opened it up yet. I'll be opening it up. All right, here we go. All right, can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
It says the second wave. We already went over the first wave, and, you know, we talked about Revelation chapter 12 when the woman runs into the wilderness and all of that. But the Bible talks about another wave that's going to make it. And I don't encourage anybody to make this to be a part of the second wave. You know, some people teach this a different way. But I just want to know what you think about this part of it. And each time we start a session, I want to know what you think about it, and we're going to ask questions, and everybody just let it flow. All right, we're in Isaiah chapter 11. For you all who can't see the screen, we're in Isaiah chapter 11, and we're going to read 11 and 12 of this particular chapter. And it says, in that day, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Most High, in that day that the Most High shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Patros, from Cush, from Elam and from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Okay? Let me see where we're going here. Hold on just a moment. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Watch. Now we're in Jeremiah 31, 1 and 2. It says, at the same time, saith the Lord, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Watch what it says. It says, thus saith the Most High, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Now, I want to ask you a question. When you see that, does that to me, that sounds like that either there's going to be some people left from the wars that's going to be going on around us, and they're going to make it into the wilderness, or we all are going to experience some of the sword, and we're going to have to be able to cover ourselves. And I want you to think about that before you answer, because I want to read a couple more and try to put something together here. Jeremiah chapter 16, verses 14 through 17. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Most High, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock. For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes.
Hallelujah.
All right, anybody have a comment about that? What do you think about that? I mean, does it sound like, because sometimes it can be a little conflicting where it says, okay, are we all going to run into the wilderness at the same time, or is there going to be a phase of people that's running into the wilderness? Are they going to have to hunt for us? Are we going to be in hiding? When all this stuff hits the fan, how do you guys feel about that?
I'll stand. I will start off. I'll start off by saying that Judah got to go first. Why do I say that is because we got to have a standard of living, of rules and regulations, you understand, for the people that's going to come. Because everybody is going to come with their understandings on how they expect things to go. You understand? Because here we are in captivity this 400-year period, you understand? And we've learned everything. We've incorporated everything into our thinking, into our mindset. And so, you understand, Judah has to go first. You understand? And then afterwards, you understand, he's going to come and he's going to send those fishers and hunters to get us out. Now, it's going to be a difficult time because we're going to be hiding out, you understand, because of the trials and tribulations that we're going to go through along with the destruction, because the Almighty said that he was going to punish these people for what they did. You understand? And along with those that punishment for those folks, we're going to have to be hid out, and we're going to be in caves and rocks all over the place. You understand? Trying to survive. You understand? That's my understanding of that. That's just me. What I think.
All right. Anybody else?
Yes, I don't see us being on one accord, therefore all of us leaving at one time. I don't see that. I see some people drawing back.
Okay, that's a good point. Both of you got a good point. Anybody else before I go to the next verse here? Okay, someone just called in. Please put your phone on mute. There is background noise. All right, Matthew 24, 29 to 31. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Watch what it says. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Watch. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. All right, now remember that one. Now we in Jeremiah chapter 50, verses 4 through 7. It says, in those days and in that time, saith the Most High, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Most High, their Elohim. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Most High in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. He said, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from the mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Most High, the habitation of justice, even the Most High, the hope of their fathers. All right, what do you think about that? That's another group. Now, let me say this before we go into this one. I'm going to go into this one real quick, because where we're going now is going to lead up to all of that. And I have a big question that I have to ask when I finish this lesson today, because I need some clarification about some things. So we're going into Jeremiah chapter 31, Let me see what it says. It says, at Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 1, at the same time, saith the Lord, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Most High, the people which are left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. The Most High have appeared of old unto me, saying, yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. For thus saith the Most High, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chiefs of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yah, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return thither. So even though it's a remnant, it's still a great company of people. Now watch. They shall come with weeping, and with supplication will I lead them, and I will cause them to walk. So some people are going to come crying by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of the Most High, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doeth his flock. For the Most High has redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the heights of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Most High, for wheat and for wine and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their souls shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. He said, then shall the virgin rejoice and dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them and make them rejoice for their sorrow. Behold, the day cometh, saith the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah, not according to the covenant that I made with their father in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I am a husband unto them, saith the Most High. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Most High. I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Most High? For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yah. For I will forgive their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more. All right, now what do you think about that? Comments? Nobody have a comment?
Well, yeah, I'd say hallelujah, but I still think there's going to be waves of people.
There's going to be what?
The first wave will be going and crying, going back there. We won't be in the same peril. Hopefully, I pray I'm among the first. That we won't be in the same peril that are the ones that are left behind or refuse to come.
Right.
But, I still believe that there'll be waves.
Okay, anybody else?
Do you think we'll come out with treasure?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Do you think we'll come out with treasure?
Oh, most definitely. He said we're going to come out with great wealth.
The first group, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that first group, I believe, will come out with great wealth. Now, The second group, I'm in the other wave, I don't know, because like the sister said earlier, we're not on the one accord. You know what I'm saying? Even with the 400-year prophecy, as much as we have shown and as much as we have proved and as much as we have nullified the whole Egypt thing, people still don't believe it.
Well, I guess we have to go on and humble ourselves and confess our iniquity and also our father's iniquity, and he will go on and heal our land.
Yeah, and that is true. But when we leave here, though, the leaving of the countries where we have been scattered is what we're kind of dealing with today, and understanding who's going to be in charge, who's going to be in control, and how this is going to be done is somewhat explained in the scriptures. But just reading the scriptures, it appears that there's going to be more than one wave to make it in. Because some people are going to be left behind, and I believe that those people that are left behind of the sword will be those who didn't leave when the time came, and those that the dragon went and waged war up against and prevailed, because all through the book of Daniel and Revelation, it talks about, that king of fierce countenance who's going to wage war against the holy people and prevail. Revelation talks about how the dragon, once the woman runs into the wilderness, the dragon's going to turn around and face the remnant of her seed and prevail. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to die for this cause if they don't know the when, the where, and the how. And even then, I think that has to be given to you by the Most High for those who keep His laws, statutes, and commandments.
Well, Sister Yaina, I have a comment, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when we think about all the Bible studies and the shows that we've listened to, and I remember one on the signs of the times, and one we talked about a volcano. We have a super volcano in Babylon, in the daughter of Babylon, where it could knock out up to 20 states. So, we look at that, and we've looked at all these storms and things that could hit the coast and minimize. And as this country, this pagan country, is judged, don't y'all think that those are signs and things that are going to make people run up out of here? Because we've been told, in Scripture that, many will come out running and crying. I mean, even though they might feel like they're comfortable here, it's going to be made, Yah is protecting His people, and He's going to force the hand of those who, you know what I'm saying, are around procrastinating, saying, well, okay, I'm straddling the fence. It's going to make those who are straddling the fence jump that fence and start running, Now,
let me ask you this question, and I'm glad you brought that up. Because I'm not going to go into the New Testament today. I said I was, but I'm not. Something else I got to show you first. But you remember in the New Testament when the disciples were talking to Yahudah, and they said, when will we know when will these things be? And he referred to the days of Noah. He said, just like it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be for the coming of the Son of Man. What did he say they were going to be doing? Eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. So it's going to be business as usual. He said it was like that until the day that Noah went into the ark, and the self-same day it started to rain. So the people didn't pay attention then, and they're not paying attention now. And this is going to come up again, because he also used another reference. He said the same day, same the way it was in the days of Lot. They didn't listen.
But I'm thinking the brother who brought up the valid point and asked, are we going to come out with a high hand? Well, we know that's in Scripture. And that's going to be enough to bring a lot of people out, because they won't get that gift if they stay here. And, y'all know remember the movie where they had all the brothers and sisters in the hood buying the liquor truck, the Slits Malt liquor truck, and one guy went in and bought the whole jewelry store because, they were talking about how we are so into the spirit of materialism. When we get the gift, the high hand, well, they're saying and projecting that the Hebrew Israelites are going to squander that gift. and throw it right back in, into the pot. So I'm saying, if you all have seen that movie, it's a funny movie, but man, it's an interesting point they make in that movie about our culture and the things that we like. But I truly believe that the hand is going to be forced for those who stay here, because we talk about fire from heaven. I mean, that could be a meteor storm, it could be, but this country we know is going to be judged. It's going to be a harsh judgment here. So this is something we can't play with. But as I talk to Hebrew Israelites around the country, folks are trying to, as close as they can, we don't know the hour, but we certainly are looking at the times and studying and searching the scriptures so we can understand what we need to be doing to get off of the continental United States, I'm telling you.
Well, one thing for sure is, when we see these things happening and these things are going on around us, that's what he said. He said, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So, and I'm glad you brought that point up, because a lot of people will, if they give us reparations, and that's how the Most High is going to play this out, and they give us a certain amount of money in reparations and wipe our debt clean and wipe our student loans out and allow us to have a certain amount of money to do whatever we want to do for those who are wise. And that goes back to the women with the oil in their lamp. The wise women kept oil in their lamp and did what they needed to do, and the other people squandered theirs. So, if those people that squander theirs don't take it to heart, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't want to try to predict, because I don't know. I don't know how they're going to give it to us or when they're going to give it to us, But the Bible does say that we're going to leave with great wealth. But we have to, like the sister said, we're not together enough to the point where everybody's on the same page and everybody will be leaving at the same time. Because some people don't even think they have to leave. They still trying to get plots of land here, and they still trying to grow their own food, and they're still trying to barter between each other and create this system between each other. And it's like, really, I don't think that's going to work out too well. But who am I? I mean, whatever works.
Right here. Look here. The scriptures say, you understand, that we're going into the wilderness. You understand? There's going to be an opportunity for us to establish ourselves as Hebrew Israelites. Everybody is not going to go, even though we're, at odds with one another and we got different understandings and blah, 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 there's got to be some kind of cohesiveness when we go into that wilderness that's the purpose of us going into the wilderness, is so that we can weed out all of that nonsense and start building on on the laws, statutes, ordinances, and commandments. Now, then it says that he's going to come back and get Judah from all of the remnant of Judah and Israel from all of the four corners of the earth. You just read that.
Yeah, and if we make it, the thing is to make it, and the best way to know you're going to make it is to keep his laws, statutes, and his commandments.
Yeah. Well, you got to do that to the best of our ability, because we are serious. You understand? You understand? What we can do is keep the Shabbat that we know we can keep. We can keep that. We can keep, from my perspective, we can keep the Passover. You understand? You understand? The things that we could do, we need to do, you understand, with all our heart and all our souls. You understand? Yeah. That gives you a good chance of making the cut.
Yeah. I heard a female voice. Somebody was trying to say something. Was that Sister Sanaya?
No, it was me. My name is Sister Sewell.
Okay.
And this, like I said before, this is my first time on the call. I've listened to a lot of your YouTubes and very impressed. I think what it is it's just like with the children of Israel of old, our ancestors of old. They were told to leave Jerusalem by Jeremiah, by Ezekiel, and the other prophets. Some people listened, and some people didn't. And those that did not listen, they got taken into captivity. So I can see the analogy between when we're told to leave, there's a group of us who will leave. And there is a group that will stay because they will be listening to the false prophets that will be telling us what to do, as opposed to those of us who are reading Yah's word and listening to his prophets and know that when he speaks, that it's time to move.
All right. Well, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much, and definitely. So now, which moves us to the next part. This is very important because we need to know what's going on, and we tried to do this last week. The fourth kingdom. This is very, very important, and we're going to touch on some political things today and try to get into some economic information and everything that deals with this fourth kingdom. A kingdom in the last days. So this is the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. For you all who can't see it, it's the statue of Nebuchadnezzar's dream that he had in Daniel chapter 2. And what the Most High did was he laid out the world empires to Daniel according to the way he wants this to be done until the end of the world. So the first world empire was the Babylonian empire. That was Nebuchadnezzar. He was the head of gold. Daniel interpreted it for him. He said the next empire was the arms and the chest made of silver. That was the Medo-Persian Empire. Who is Medo-Persia today?
Iran.
Russia and Iran. Russia and Iran. Thank you. Russia and Iran. Then the next kingdom was the kingdom made of, I think it was brass, the waistline made of brass, which was the Grecian Empire. And that was headed by Alexander the Great. And when he died, there were 4 generals that took over, and they split the land up according to the 4 generals. And then the next empire was the legs made of iron, and that was the Roman Empire. And the last empire that the Most High showed Nebuchadnezzar in his dream was the empire where the feet at the bottom were mixed with iron and clay. And that we believe to be the Holy Roman Empire. Now, we're going to get into that.
Where are we at now?
We're at the feet. We're at the feet. Down at the bottom, this is it. Ain't no more empires under the feet. We're at the feet. These is the last days. So, here we go. Daniel chapter 7. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions upon his head, upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Verse 2. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. 4 beasts. He saw 4 beasts. Remember what we saw in the statue. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. He said, now we're in Daniel chapter 7, verse 19. He said the 4th beast. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell. Now, those were 3 different nations that would not comply. I forgot the names of them. I think it was the Goths and the Vandals, somebody, and the Hurons. They were 3 nations that would not comply with Rome, and they wiped them completely out. Okay, let's go on to the next. Somebody say something?
Yes, they were the Vandals, Ostrogoths, and the Hureli.
Hureli, that's right. Thank you. It says, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks was more stout than his fellow. He said, and I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Here we go. So he's going to make war with Israel, and he's going to prevail against some of us. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 kings out of this kingdom, the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. And another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times, laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But his judgment shall fit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. All right, now, this is the revival of the Roman Empire, because who is the fourth beast according to the statue that we seen up here that Nebuchadnezzar had his dream? Hold on, let me bring back. Who is the fourth one?
The Roman Empire.
Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire. Daniel had a dream. He saw the Roman Empire. But he saw something else mixed with the Roman Empire, which brings us down to the feet and the toes that are mixed with iron and clay. So we're getting ready to get into some information, and I want to share this with you so that we can, go for here. All right, Daniel chapter 7, the fourth beast. And I think we have read that. We're not going to do that again. We're going to move on. Okay, the Treaty of Rome. How many people know what the Treaty of Rome was? Nobody? Okay. The Treaty of Rome, originally 1957 to 1993, treaty establishing the European Economic Community. Succeeded by 1993 to 2009, the treaty establishing the European Community, and 2009, Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, also called, together with the treaty establishing the European Atomic Energy Community. Treaty of. This is all of the treaties of Rome. This is establishing the 10 toes. Now, when they first signed on March the 25th of 1957, it was only 6 countries that signed it. It was Belgium, it was France, it was the Federation Republic of Germany, it was Italy, it was Luxembourg, and it was the Netherlands. This established the European Economic Community. And what they did was they created a common market which allowed them to trade back and forth from each other. All of this was established by Rome. And when we say it was established by Rome, who really established it when we say Rome?
The Vatican.
You say that again, sis. Yes, ma'am, all day. And this was a picture of the meeting that they had when they established this in 1957. All the nations came together. It says, what is the Treaty of Rome? It says the Treaty of Rome established the European Economic Community, which is seen as a major stepping stone in the creation of the EU. Watch. The EEC established a common market which gave members the freedom to move goods, services, capital, and people, and also a customs union among the founding states. Signed on March 1957. It was signed in Rome in March 1957 by France and then West Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. It was only 6. The core of the original EEC, who described themselves as determined to lay the foundation of an ever-closing union among the people of Europe. So, any questions? Okay, let's keep moving. It says the original 6. Yes, 6 members signed up initially, known as the original 6. Okay, somebody's phone is echoing. Would you please put your phone on mute? Hello? Okay, they did. Thank you. But over the years, more and more nations became members through the process of the EU enlargement. Today, there are 28 member states, although once the UK quits, this will fall to 27. Do you all see how important this is and why this was important when the UK decided they was going to step out of it? You there? Everybody there?
Yeah. Yeah, but you can hear that echoing in the background.
I'm getting ready to find out whose phone that is in just a moment. Because somebody just called in, and I really, we're going to be all right. But in the meantime, we can keep talking. So what do you think about that? Because everybody was really upset when they found out that, the UK was pulling out of it.
Now, that doesn't have anything to do with NATO, does it?
When you say NATO, what do you mean?
Well, that had all the countries in that. I was just thinking when, the only one that was missing was the USA. Well,
the only one that wasn't mentioned was the USA?
Yeah, that wasn't mentioned in the original. I know that when I first heard about it, the first time I heard about it was when Bush declined to join in there. But I didn't know it went back to 1957.
Yeah. Yeah, they originally signed that in 1957. And which paved the way for the EU. Now, what's going to happen is that they're going to dwindle down to how many at the end of the day? Somebody, how many toes was on there? How many toes? How many horns was on the beast?
10.
10 horns. So it's going to dwindle down to 10 nations. It says the European Union. Now we have Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece. Hold on. We got mostly all of the Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. So the United Kingdom has pulled out. Mm-hmm. These are all the nations that are in the EU right now. But as they revive this Roman Empire, it's only going to be 10 that's going to be ruling and running things. So this was all of the EU, all these nations. And all of these nations are Gentiles. All of them. All right, here we go. The last world empire. It says this last empire, symbolized by the feet and toe of iron and clay, will one day constitute the first dictatorship that will truly, dictatorship that is truly global in nature. Here we go. That's what we're going to do right here. When we get down to these toes, the Holy Roman Empire. This revived Roman Empire will rule the world in the following ways. Here we go. Politically, Revelation chapter 13 and 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Watch. One world religion. Revelations 13 and 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? who is able to make war with him. Revelation 13:8. And all that dwelled upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Here we go, watch. Magic and witchcraft, Revelations 13:14. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So this guy going to be so crucial. When he come on the scene, he going to be doing miracles and all kind of stuff, and people are going to fall for it. I'm getting ready to ask you the question in a minute. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now we Revelations 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So I say that's artificial intelligence. I heard one pastor say he think he's going to be made out of rock and he's going to make the rock talk. He's going to do some serious stuff that's going to challenge the very core of what most people believe. And if most people are sick and they got children that's been sick, do you think those people going to hold out for y'all and this man is doing miracles? Hello?
No, they won't. They'll go running.
Israel going to go running too, ain't they?
Yeah.
If you got AIDS and he can heal it, and he can give you something and poof, it's gone, but the only problem is you have to pledge your allegiance to him, we're going to lose a lot of people that way. A lot of people. Watch. One world economic system. Revelations 13:16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. And we in Revelation 13:17. That no man might buy. That means you ain't going to be able to go in the grocery store and get anything. You ain't going to be able to buy no clothes. You ain't going to be able to go get nothing. No water, no nothing. Or sell. You're not going to be able to sell nobody nothing. Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. They are going to put the lockdown on everything when this happens. This ruler will head the world government for 42 months. This 42-month period is the last 3.5 years. In that period, there will be a time of unprecedented trouble. Now, let me ask you a question again, like we have before. Do you think that there's going to be a large remnant to make it in the first wave? A lot of people going to be tricked, and a lot of people going to be made to or going to stay here, because guess what they're going to give them? If they give them money, if they give them reparations, if they give them things, it's going to be party in the city. And this can't be so bad if this is what it's going to be. And we might as well just stay here. Where y'all think y'all going? Oh, you going to the woods? For real? Okay, we'll go to the woods. And a lot of people are going to be tricked. Any comments?
My
comment
would be, I'm thinking about the reparations and how, but we have to say, like when Yeshua came in Matthew the 5th chapter, the 17th through the 20th verses, he said he came to fulfill the law. And when you look at that, the true word behind that is obedience to the law. The Christian church has that thing where he came to fulfill the law, and they fool people into thinking now even that if he fulfilled the law, well, we're not supposed to be lawless, but we can slack up and, not be obedient to the law. But the law gives you purity of heart. You can see things, and your spiritual discernment remains intact when you stay close to the law. That's my thought on what you just said.
All right, that sounds like a plan. I mean, it works. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, you know, because that's all we really can do at this point, because there's no timeline to say, okay, this is going to happen first, and this is going to happen this next, and then this is going to happen. But the Bible does kind of lead you in a direction to let you know what to look for. I'll say that.
But
I just want to mention
the man of perdition has to be revealed. Nobody's going anywhere until he's revealed.
I have a question.
Let me end this point after her question. I'll wait and finish what I was saying after her question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead and finish your point. I'll ask when you're done.
Well, my only statement, and then I'm finished with this, is we have to play this out with a full hand. Those of us who have played the card game, if you don't have a full hand and you at the table, you know, you can't play the game. And what I mean by that is we have to listen to the testimony of all the prophets. We have to listen to all the statutes. We have to listen to all the scriptures. And we know that when you go to the Christian community and you talk about the Apocrypha, it blows them away. You see them in their seats. They cannot sit still. They're writing. You know, people will get on the edge of their seat when you tell them about the Roman Catholic Church leaving the Apocrypha, the lost books. They weren't lost, but you have got to use a full deck to play this out. Otherwise, you miss a golden opportunity to get all the pearls that Yah has placed before us. And I'm finished. Thank you. I'm putting myself back on mute.
All right, sis.
My question is in regards to Jacob's trouble. I hear people talk about Jacob's trouble and it's going to be trouble, but hasn't Jacob had trouble? Hasn't Israel had trouble since 1619 when they came here? The beating, the rape, the feeding the children to the alligators. I mean, is that not trouble as well, or is it just more specific to the end time? Because when I think of Jacob's trouble, of all of it, for 400 years worth of trouble, not just a couple of years or not, you know, what we see now, but I think of all of it. and I was just asking.
I'm glad you asked that question.
Thank you.
A lot of people say that. They say, well, we've been in trouble. No, we've been in the curse. The things that you just talked about were the things that the Most High told us was going to happen to us while we were in the curse. When we come out of the curse, then we're going to go into Jacob's trouble. And what does the Bible say about his trouble? It said it's a day that has never been nor ever will be in the history of a nation. So it's not going to be a normal ordinance. Yeah, they did some horrendous things. They did. I was driving to work the other day, and I happened to glance over into the car of these two people from the other nation. And for a brief moment, my mind just went to traveling. And they just looked like, I just wondered, I wonder what those people were like if they could afford a slave. You know, just to be able to have a slave or buy a slave or buy two slaves, you know, and have our people at their disposal to do whatever they wanted them to do for them, to them, with them, anything they wanted to do to them. They could do anything they wanted to do to them because they owned them. And they could breed them to make more slaves. They could murder them and nobody would say anything because we were considered property. So all of the things that you just described was the things that the Most High warned us in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that was going to happen to us if we weren't obedient, that we were going to fall into the hands of a people that had no regard for us at all and that would do some horrendous things to us. But in my opinion, when I read about Jacob's trouble, that is something totally different, because it seems to me that when this starts, we will have completed the curse. And this goes into a whole nother level, because it seems like that everything is amped up to the nth degree. You know, we're seeing magic is in the air. We're seeing vehicles in the sky. We're seeing beings come to the earth. It's like the heavens have been shaken, and the things that are in the heavens that were no longer wanted there have fallen to the earth, and they're here to wage war on us. And why us? So Somebody why is war being waged on Jacob's children? Why are we so important that happens to us?
Because they hate the Father.
That's one point, but why are they coming after us?
Because we chosen by the Most High.
Well, by then, they will definitely know who we are. By then.
And guess what? We're not at a disadvantage then.
Well, see, you know, remember now, we were disobedient. And the Almighty said that he was going to bring a people down on us that have a fierce countenance, that have no regard for man, woman, or child. You understand?
Right.
And you know, it's not so much that they, you know, that this is what they want to do, and this and that and the other, and you know, it's because of our disobedience to the Almighty.
Right. I agree with you 100%. So I think, in my opinion, that is the difference between the two times. That it's going to be amped up at that time because they want to do away with us. But the Most High is going. He said, "Jacob shall be saved out of it." And we weren't saved out of the stuff that we was going through. We went through it. We managed to make it through because of all praises to the Most High. But some family members was hung. Some was murdered. Some children was chewed up by the alligator. But he said, in this specific period, Jacob shall be saved out of it.
We were saved in this regard is that the Almighty showed mercy on us in our captivity.
Right. Yeah, that's what I said. We some of us made it through mercy, but this time he said Jacob shall be saved out of it. So, you know, I think it's going to be a different time, but it's not going to be. We won't be at a disadvantage because once the curse is over, we will have the full backing and the power from the kingdom and the host of heaven to be able to do just like we did when we came out of Egypt. They was right there to fight on our behalf. As long as we was obedient and we did what we were supposed to do, but we was feared among the nations.
Oh, okay. Since I think that
go ahead.
I think that also the time frame of when Jacob's trouble is going to begin is also when the things that are inner earth comes to the outer earth.
All of that's going to come up. Yeah, all of that, because the world is going to be in a different time. You know, I mean, you know, you always got to remember what Yehudah said. They're going to be eating and drinking and giving in marriage. And then, you know, the New Testament is powerful because it says men have become lovers of themselves more than lovers of Yah. You know, and you can tell now everybody, they can't put them doggone phones down. They snapping selfies of each other. I mean, it just went to a whole nother level. If you notice, the vainness of the world has gone to a whole nother level, that they are so engrossed with this technology stuff that nobody pays attention to anybody anymore. Most of the time, their head is down looking at their phone. Very rarely do they look up. They just don't do it. So it's going to be easy to get a lot of people, but the ones that are paying attention, like Brother Doniel said, keep the laws, and Brother Emmanuel, the statutes and the commandments, and are doing what we're supposed to do, that's a whole nother ball game, and I believe in my heart that that'll be the first wave. And I really hope and pray that our children will be allowed to come with us, because most of our children ain't paying no attention either. They not. All right, here we go. Watch. Here we go. We're going to the next slide, hopefully.
I have a quick question. Just a quick question. Did someone say after our 400 years it will be revealed that we are the people?
Well, you know, they
heard that.
They know we're the people. That the fact that it has to be revealed, you know, they know who we are.
Well, you know, one thing that I find out, you know, after our punishment is up, you understand? Remember, he was a small sanctuary with us throughout our captivity. But once our punishment is up, what's stopping the Almighty from us being totally covered?
Nothing. That's what I said. We will be totally covered.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they know we're the people. Now, whether they will ever make an announcement is going to bring me to my point. And while I haven't gotten there yet, but I got to share something with you, and I need some opinions on this. Because this thing right here is the one that's got me stumped, okay? And I need some help with this one. Okay, it says full world domination. Every facet of the human experience will be utterly dominated by this global government. So they're going to control everything. Transfer of power. All other governments will give away this powerful government. They're going to give all their power to him. They're going to make sure he has everything he needs. All right, now this is where we're going to get into some interesting things. The war with Russia. And this is where I need some help at. Because I'm going to lay the groundwork. Let me lay this groundwork for you. The whole Old Testament, from the time the Most High introduces himself to Abraham all the way through to Malachi, is about the Israelites, right?
Right.
It's about him choosing us as a nation. It's about him bringing us, Jacob marrying Leah and Rachel and the two handmaids, and 12 sons was born and one daughter. And then you know how we went into Egypt, and Joseph was sold into slavery and went into Egypt, and all this stuff happened. And then he pulls us out of Egypt and he brings us to the wilderness where he can commune with us, and he gives us laws, statutes, and commandments. We are the children of Israel. Now, my question is, as we go through the whole Old Testament, everything in that Bible is about us. But something happened in 70 A.D. When the Romans came in to take over Jerusalem, Esau ceased from existing. They say he just vanished. Nobody saw him anymore. Nobody heard from him anymore. Well, we know he didn't just vanish. He came in and assumed our identity. So we know that. We had no issue with that. It was the opportunity for him to come in. Now, something is supposed to happen to spark this war with Russia. And I want to share these scriptures with you because I am trying to find out when this is going to happen. Now, this is biblical. All right, it says in Ezekiel 38 and 39, a strange war is predicted in which a great nation to the north of Israel, a reference to Russia, and I'm going to give the scriptures, will be joined by a number of other nations in a sneak attack upon Israel at a time when Israel is at peace. Now, my question to you now, are we at peace now? No, we're not at peace now, right? So something is going to happen, and let me finish, because I got all these scriptures here. Hold on. It says, okay, we're going into Ezekiel 36, verse 15. Now, I'm just laying the groundwork because I need for you to help me with this. Ezekiel 36, verse 15. He said, neither will I cause men to hear in thee that the shame of the heathen anymore, neither shalt thou bear the reproach of the people anymore, neither shalt thou cause thy nation to fall anymore, saith the Most High. All right, now we're going into Ezekiel chapter 38, and this is the major thing that I want to set. Ezekiel 38, chapter 38, verse 7. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So somebody is getting ready to guard us. Okay, now watch what happens. He says, in the latter years, after many days, thou shalt be visited. In the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people. So there's going to be a war. The land is going to be brought back from the sword, and it's going to be taken out of many people. So there's a piece of land, according to this, that the Most High has set aside, it seems like, for Israel. Let's talk about this land. It says, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So there's a place, and I'm thinking it's Sinai. I'm thinking it's the Sinai Peninsula from Saudi Arabia. This is where we're supposed to go. But watch what it says. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. Thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Watch. Thus saith the Most High. It shall also come to pass, pay attention now, that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Now, who do you think these people are that are at rest? They're dwelling safely. Who do you think those people are? That's Israel, right? So we're going to be in a place over in the Middle East where we're going to be dwelling safely at rest in a place without walls, and somebody's going to get an evil thought. He said to do what? To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited. So we know that the desert was a desolate place. And remember we read through the scriptures that said it's going to be like the Garden of Eden. Trees going to grow up everywhere, and lakes and streams is going to be there, and all kind of stuff is going to come when we finally get in this location that is now looking desolate. So these people are looking at us and saying, I'm getting ready to go take everything that they have. Watch what it says. Watch. It says, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwelleth in the midst of the land. So it has to be Israel, because we've been gathered out of the nations, we're at rest, we're dwelling safely, and somebody's going to come up against us. Watch.
Is that going to be with years?
I'm sorry?
Is that going to be within the 3.5 years?
Wait, let me get to that. Hold on. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish with all the young lions thereof shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? They're going to ask me, are you going up against Israel? Watch what he says. Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Watch. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog and say, thus saith the Lord thy Elohim, because I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. This is Russia. Russia is supposed to come up against us. Okay, watch. Oh, wait. Well, let me stop. Let me stop. We're in 39 now, but let me stop. So, my question to you is, Brother Donnie, I just took the question right out of my mouth. This can't be the 3.5 years.
Right.
So, let me ask you this question. When is it?
No, we ain't in Israel. We're in the wilderness.
For the tribulation.
Somebody said before the tribulation? Okay. So before we run into the wilderness, can't be before the wilderness. Well, I don't know. That's my biggest issue right there with the whole wilderness prophecy, because I know he said, I'm going to lure you into the wilderness, and we have to go into the wilderness. So what I'm thinking is there's going to be a period of time when we're in the wilderness that they're going to try to come up against us.
Of course. That's
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We've been gathered.
We're going to be
we've already been gathered. We've already gotten our money. We've gotten the goods and the services, and we there.
It sounds like
it tells you, you understand, that they're going to be trying to see, what they think that they're gonna come and get all the gold and the silver and the world and the goods back from what was. You understand? And if you keep reading, Almighty is not gonna let that happen.
Well, no, he's not. I'm saying, go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say, like, I had pondered that same thing, and it seems to me, just my speculation, that it's after the millennial, because in Revelations it says, how the lion and the lamb. Well, I'm sorry, how the lion and the lamb is going to, lay down, and how we're going to, build houses and, live in peace. But then there's that period right after where it says, after the 2,000 years, then Satan will be loosed again.
Nope, this is before then.
Before
this is
that?
completely
Okay.
before any of that. This is around, let me tell you, this is around, from what I'm reading, this is around the time before the tribulation even starts. Let me finish this. Ezekiel chapter 39. Watch, he said, therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus saith the Most High Elohim, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Watch. And I will turn thee back and leave but 6 part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north part, and will bring thee upon the mountain of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thy arrow to fall out of thy right hand. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto God a place there of graves in Israel, in the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all of his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon-Gog. 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Most High. Watch what he says. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passenger those that remain upon the face of the earth to cleanse it. After the end of the 7 months shall they search. It says, and the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bones, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon-Gog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamanah. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And thou, son of man, thus saith the Most High Elohim, speak unto every feathered fowl, and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come. Gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice that I do sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Israel, that ye may eat flesh and drink blood. And ye shall eat the flesh of the mighty, and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of rams, of lambs, of goats, and of bullocks, all of them fatlings of Bashan. And ye shall eat fat till ye be filled, and drink blood till ye be drunken of my sacrifice which I have sacrificed unto you. Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, saith the Most High Elohim. All right, the destruction of the invaders will change the world situation, which apparently then will be much like it is now, with Russia and her allies opposed to the rest of the world. With Russia out of the way as a military power, because of the destruction of her army, it will be possible for the ruler of the 10 kingdoms to declare himself a world dictator, and apparently there will be no more power great enough to oppose him, and a world empire will be born overnight. And when this takes place, the world empire suddenly emerges. The Middle East ruler will break his covenant with Israel and become her persecutor instead of her protector. And the final 3.5 years, leading up to the second coming of the Most High, which will be at the time of the trouble for Israel and for the entire world. The world ruler will the world ruler of the end time will not only claim political rule over all nations, but will also claim to be Yah. As it indicated in the breaking of the covenant with Israel, the future world ruler will bring on a terrible time of persecution by the government and the judgment of Yah upon the world. Okay, what do you guys think? I mean, because, well, just tell me what you think.
Who destroyed God? You made God.
Say again?
Who destroyed God? You made God.
Let me see what they're saying. They're saying, now, according to what I read you up here, let me go back to the scripture. I'm going to show you what is appearing to sound like. Let me go back. Because at the very beginning, he kind of made a reference as to who they were. When he was
I said who destroyed them.
Oh, who destroyed them?
Who destroyed God and make God?
It has to be. It didn't say that. It has to be the Most High.
My point is this: the Most High. Nobody ever heard nothing from the Most High in over 2,500 years. So right here, when he do this, the whole world gonna see this. So you saying that a world ruler and evil is gonna exist after that? The Antichrist will come after that?
Well, that's what I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm just throwing this at you because this is some of the information that's out there. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of where we're going to be and when is this time going to happen.
Okay,
what they're trying to say is, this is what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that the world ruler is going to make a peace treaty with Israel. That there's going to be a peace treaty, which I was thinking about reparations and all that kind of stuff, to say, okay, you guys can go back home. A trip will be provided for you to go back home. We go back to the wilderness because that's where it's a piece of land ready for you guys to go back home. There was a war that broke out. I'm just paraphrasing right now, making a scenario. There's a war that broke out in the Sinai Peninsula, right over by Mount Sinai, where we can let you all go back to that land, and you guys can take your wealth and stuff and go back to the first wave. We go back over there. We're situated, we're resting in peace, we're eating, we're doing all the things we need to do, and then here comes Russia. My thing is this, it's confusing me because one minute we're running into the wilderness, and then the next minute we're at rest and we're being safe in the wilderness, or is this the same time?
Can I don't have scripture to back this. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking this. I know that the United States is going to fall. At that point, it seems to me that someone will offer us safe refuge over in the land where we're supposed to be, and they will serve as our protector. At that point in time, Russia comes against the United States. They're not messing with us. They're not, because we're not the issue at that point. Because the United States has to fall, you're going to have the alliance of the Middle East, Russia, and China. We are going to leave this place. It says when we left the first time, it was in flames. When we leave the next time, we will be booking. We're trying to get out of here. We will leave with great wealth. The person who offers her safety may very well bestow that on us. It doesn't say that it has to come from this country. So wherever we're going to go. We're going to be offered protection. We're going to have wealth there. We're not going to be the focus of whatever is going on in the rest of the world. We're just going to be given passage. But when that is accomplished, when this, in 1 day, in 1 hour rather, it says, is she destroyed? When all that's going on, she's going to go, this country will go down. But once that's accomplished, things have kind of settled, then Russia turns its eyes toward, wait, what about that group that's sitting over there with the great wealth, with that protection? The protector that was once a protector turns on us, may even ally themselves with Russia. I would read the scripture looking at that scenario and saying, does Scripture actually start to conform with this? Because the thing we know is, and also, our 400 years will be up. We will have the same access to Yah that we once had. We will have the powers that we once had. It did not say that the angels were going to come and rescue us. Basically, we may be able to fight for ourselves, because remember, at one point, one man was taking out 300 and more. When that comes, people might leave us alone, and somebody would say, yeah, we want you as our ally. But then we're sitting, we're resting, we're kind of pastoral, we're doing all this stuff. And I said, you know what? We think we can take them. We have our army. They won't expect an attack. We'll get them while they're at rest. And our protector might say, you know what, I'm not going to give them the protection that they think they have. This is a scenario to me that seems to be plausible. Now, as I said, I don't have scripture to bear it out, but I'm listening to what you're saying. And how will all these things? I know this country will fall. I know that we will be given safe passage. I know that you're going to have an alliance that's going to be formed to destroy this country. I also know that at one point, that same country that was once destroying this country is going to turn its eyes toward us. But at that point, we will be elsewhere. All of this stuff can actually occur almost simultaneously, in my mind. It's just a scenario.
Right, because I mean, it sounds plausible to me, but like I said, I've been trying to fit this in, and I'm like, is this going to happen within the 3.5 years, or is this going to happen before the 3.5 years? But the Bible's very clear about how long we will be in the wilderness, and that's 3.5 years. So it has to happen around that time. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make it fit, because it's like, why would they mess with us? And he's put us in the wilderness to be safe, but, you know, like you said, they'll look at us and like, they got all the wealth over there. Why is them people with all that wealth ain't nobody bothering? And then they come to mess with us. You know, because that's what the scripture says. It's going to be us, them that are at rest, that dwell safely, and those that have been gathered out of the nations.
So that means that 38, 12, and 13 lets us know that we already received our reparation, and Genesis chapter 15, that we're going to come out with great wealth. That has already just happened. And right. It even tells you, verse 13 tells you what it is that we're going to receive. It says, Sheba, Dedan, and the merchants of Tarsus, with all the young lions thereof, say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a great prey, to carry away silver and gold? That's what we received when we left here.
That's true. And cattle and goods. That's true.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the reparations. So we see that we received reparations right there.
Yeah, that's true.
But my point is this. It says, Daniel says 4 beasts. So what is a beast? A beast is not a man. The 4 beasts that he's saying is a system. Yeah. So he's saying that Daniel is saying that 4 systems are going to come upon the earth. So how do a system receive a wound and still live? Not a man, but a system. Rome was sacked. Rome was sacked by the Visigoths.
Yeah.
And those giants came in, sacked Rome. That's the wound that the 4 beasts received. And then the beast came back to life because they made it the Holy Roman Empire. And the clay is not 5. It's not 5 beasts. The 4th beast is from the thigh down to the toe. The toes are included. So he says that at the very end of this, at the 4th beast, the clay iron is iron. And the clay, miry clay, is not going to mix with it. What's the miry clay? Us. We're awakened now. We're not mixing with the 4 beast. But before the Most High woke us up, we was mixing with it. But now that we awakened, we starting to awake, we're not mixing with the 4 beast. That's what that is. It's not 5 kingdoms, it's 4 kingdoms.
Right. I mean, you know, that's a good point you're making. I mean, you know, that is a very good point you're making. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to gather information from the people that are on the phone that are thinking this thing through. And like you said, a very good point is that's going to be our reparations, silver and gold. You know, we knew we weren't going to be leaving with American dollars, that's for sure.
Well, that's right.
You know, and to take cattle and us for us to have cattle and goods, I'm sure we're not going to be leaving with none of these animals that's been shot up with all kind of stuff.
He makes a point to say basin. So what is it? That's size the ark.
Yeah.
Remember ark of basin?
Yeah, Bashan. Yeah, that's Bashan.
Bashan. So he said that back when they came to the land with ark was there, they had the fat of everything. Mm-hmm. They said the rams that ark had they were huger, bigger, you know, better than all other rams that was around.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, sounds like a plan. Anybody else?
Nice. Mm-hmm. You know, there's nice scenarios there, you know. But, yeah, I think, when I think about that, you know, I'm thinking we saw those tents in Saudi Arabia that they had set up. I know they couldn't set us all in there, but they had air conditioning, bathrooms, kitchens in there. You know, we might be in a situation like that.
Right.
So who knows? Who knows?
I mean, how are they gonna? I mean, but
wouldn't be walled off. It would be, you know, it would be like a community without walls.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be out in the open, that's for sure. We're going to be out in open. Well, we showed you all the desert places around Sinai, and there is nothing there. It is an empty, desolate-looking place. But the Most High is going to allow trees to grow up and water and all that to be there. They said it's going to look like the Garden of Eden. I mean, really, at the end of the day, and we're coming there with our own cattle and goods and silver and gold. And at some point, they're going to come up against us to try to take it, and while we dwell safely. And then all hell going to break loose.
Yep.
One thing I would add, we look at this country and say that they owe us reparations, but the Arab slave trade went on way before this started. They owe us. A lot of people owe us.
All of them. Psalms 83. All of them. All of them that got together. Those 10 nations, they got together in Psalms 83. Yes, yes, yes. And yes, and yes, and yes. But I'm just saying, you know, when you look at this, you know, that we're going to be very well provided for according to the Most High's word. And, you know.
It does not mention the European or the Gentile in Psalms 83.
Right. But I mean, we just talking about the nations that are over in that area where we're going. That's where most of them are.
Well, see, you remember now, we got to understand who those nations are. That's Edom. That's Edom, you understand, and Ishmael. You understand? Remember, Ishmael didn't get the blessing neither, and he was wrong too.
Right. I understand. I mean, I know.
You
know, this has been the thing that has taken me. I'm like, now when is this going to happen? You know, and I guess we'll find out when we get there, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, it will be all revealed. It's in the book somewhere. We'll understand that. But it'll all be revealed once our punishment is up. You understand? And the Almighty is with us. Will be with us. You understand? So all of this stuff will start to transpire. You understand? After that particular time, it can't happen before the punishment.
Well, that's true. And that is very, very true. Okay, well, I mean, you know, those are the things. Does anybody else have any questions at all whatsoever? You know, anything?
Yeah, I just want to make a statement. Sorry, bro.
Yes, sir.
I've been to Saudi Arabia, and I'm telling you, it's a bleak place. Very, very bleak. But what I didn't know when I went there was that Mount Sinai was there. And as you already know that God dwelt there.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't know at the time, but I tell you, if I knew then what I know now, I would have been trying to find that mountain when we were coming back home. Because I flew over Cairo, Egypt. So Cairo, you had to go past Mount Sinai.
Okay.
And it's a black mountain, burnt. And that's the only thing that's black out there. Everything else is brown or tan or like whatever. That mountain does stand out.
Okay.
Wow.
That's one of the Saudis.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's why the Saudis do not want anyone going there. If you guys ever get a chance, look up down there, Ron Wyatt. Look him up.
Oh, we already have, and that's why we know that when y'all landed on Mount Sinai, that whatever vehicle that he was in, it burnt the tip of the rocks because the rocks are still charged today. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I saw that YouTube clip where the man said when they broke open the rock, it was regular granite inside of the rock, but the outer part of the rock was scorched to the point where something landed on it that was hot. You know, and yeah, I mean, wow. But and even though they don't want us to go there, we have to go there. And that's why I was saying when it said that we were going to go back to the land that was bought back from the sword, which is back here. Hold on, let me go back. It says that for many days thou shalt be visited. This is Ezekiel 38:8. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people. And then he says, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So we have to go back to the mountain of Yah, because we're getting ready to repeat what happened when the children of Israel went to Sinai.
Do you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny about the whole thing is that they preserving that area.
Yes, sir.
Arabs are preserving that area. You understand? Because they doing a lot of exploring and all of that stuff, and them Arabs is not letting them do anything around that mountain. Can't that's kind of peculiar, ain't it?
I think so. No, but how powerful is that? How powerful is the fact that the rock is still burnt after thousands and thousands of years? And he said, I'm going to bring you back to the mountain. I'm going to bring you back. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The same way I took your forefathers, I'm going to take you back. I mean, all of those things that we have something to look forward to, and to know that we're going back there, you know, that if you go to the north of that, it's Russia.
Okay.
And it tells you the nation from the north is coming.
Yeah. But the Almighty going to take care of that. You understand? We ain't going to have to dip a stick at that. We might have to do a little fighting in our own land of Jerusalem, because them little hardliners is not going to be quietly.
Let me let y'all know also, Russia from Saudi Arabia is only 700 miles. So all you got to do is just have a highway going straight on down, and you're right there. Because when I went there, we went to a area called not Manipa Bay, but it was another one with a Saudi port, and we saw a Russian tanker that was right there, and they were over there supposed to be, getting oil, but they were over there spying on the military to see what was going on as far as offloading of equipment and also troops.
Wow.
And you know one thing that we read this already somewhere, you understand, it says that when we go into the valley of decision, you understand, it's only going to be one way in and one way out.
Yeah, that is true. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
I think it's great. Can't wait. I pray that I'm alive and I'm able to go.
Well, one thing, if like I always say, man, I want to go, you understand, and be, brought back to my when I was 28. If I get a chance to drink some of that living waters and live amongst no field, because the Almighty said He was going to, and the elderly are going to be jumping around like gazelles.
Wonderful. And the area.
That's the thing that we have to look forward to. And He said it, so He can't lie.
Right.
Ain't going to have no problem with no animals or nothing, man. No lions. Lions going to sleep with the lambs. You understand? We ain't going to have no problems, man, once the Almighty bring us back. See, that's the purpose of the punishment being lifted. You understand? And He going to cover us, man. We ain't got to worry about nothing.
we discuss, and those are the things that are, it's just amazing. The whole story is amazing. The children of Israel is amazing. Yah is amazing. All of this is just amazing. That after all of the things that we have gone through in the nations and the lands of our captivity, that he has an outcome for us and an exit strategy for us that speaks to nobody else but us. Hallelujah.
Yeah. I heard Sister Pavia say one time, in the end, we win.
Yeah. We're on our way out of here. Like you said, how many months we got left, Brother Donia?
We got 21.
How many months we got left?
21 more months.
21 more months, and our sentence has been served. And we can go before the Most High and cry out to him to deliver us from these places and take us home. Because we, like I heard one of the Hebrew Israelite teachers say, the kids that are growing up now, they don't even teach them about slavery. They don't even know anything about the things that our ancestors had to go through. They think it's one big old happy party full of cell phones and Starbucks and lattes, and it's like, no, we have an ugly history that is here. And guess what? We have a greater history that's coming. We just got to stay the course and get there.
Yeah.
Stay the course and get there. Powerful stuff, man. I'm telling you, it made me want to shout. I'm
so, that's right. One thing that I'm finding out as I've over the years that I've been watching this, we have this is real. This is not this is real.
Yeah.
I think that, because Almighty hasn't shown himself in the last 2,500 years. You understand? We just missed the fact. You understand? But this is real here.
Yes,
this is
real. Yes, it is real. I can't wait. I had somebody ask me, do you really want to leave and go home? Excuse me? Yes. Absolutely.
You might be the next.
I know the water going to be pure. I know the fruit going to be free from GMOs and all that stuff, and the animals ain't going to have no antibiotics in them, and we're going to be able to dwell safely and enjoy the rest of the life that we have left in the presence of the Most High Yah. You think I want to stay here? No.
That's right. You might be the next statistic, you understand, of being shot or being misled, mistreated. Our life is in the balance here.
Every day. My son just walked out the door, and I just said a prayer. Like, y'all, please don't let nothing happen to him while he out there. My daughters and my son and my other son, I pray for him every single day. Please protect him and let the angels cover him. Please. Our life is in the balance. But that's what Deuteronomy 28 said. He said, we're going to say when it is morning, boy, I wish it was evening. And when it is evening, boy, I wish it was morning. You know what I'm saying? Our life going to hang in the balance.
That is correct. What's so powerful about that? That was written 2,000 years ago.
No, longer than that, yeah.
I would like to just add a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
If we look at the European, if we look at the Treaty of Rome and the EUC, there's lots and lots of nations there. So to get to the 10 toes, there's like a lot that would have to opt out, like Great Britain. But if we look at the G7, which contains 60% of the world's wealth, then there's only 3 toes left to be added. So it seems like our time is a lot shorter.
That's a possibility. All of it's on the table at this point. All of it is on the table. Whichever way it goes. You know what I'm saying? Because we just really don't know what could possibly happen to make the rest of them fall off. Or, like you said, the G7 is what we really need to be looking at. We just really don't know. But one thing we do know is that Rome is going to control it all.
Amen.
They're going to control all of it. But I'm like this, hurry up, y'all, so we can go. I'm ready to go. I'm telling you. Woo! I am telling you. It is something.
Hey,
yes,
your voice, guys.
Say again?
Ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
I said, beam me aboard, Scotty.
I didn't hear you. Can you say it one more time? You kind of broke up.
Scotty. That's what he
I said, beam me aboard, Scotty.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that's how we going to get there. Let us go. However, you know, when your ships are Tarshish, however the Most High want to take us, let us go. You know, and that solves the problem. You don't have to worry about no more right wing. You don't have to worry about no more left wing. You don't have to worry about no more neo-Nazi groups. You don't have to worry about no more Ku Klux Klan. Just let us go. Problem solved.
Right? I remember in previous class it was said that every group will go back to their own nation. When they do Sinai, we're the only group that says they don't know where we come from. Well, we know where we're going.
You know,
everybody goes back to their own nation, and we go to Sinai.
That's right. Ain't that beautiful? We're going back to the burnt mountain.
Hallelujah.
We're going back to the burnt mountain and meet our Elohim for the first time face to face. That's powerful.
Almighty is going to clean up our land. We can't go back into that land. You hear what that Netanyahu said that he was trying to get rid of every black man in Jerusalem? You understand? You know, so if we go back there, we're gonna be shipped out again to another place. You understand that we know is that's having wars and and going through all of those things. Man, it's gonna be a terrible mess. You understand? Our safety spot is in that wilderness. You understand? Because Almighty, He's gonna be our God, and we're gonna be His people. You understand? At that particular time, for sure.
What's going on right now, I look at it a little bit differently because I'm thinking they're shipping all of the Africans out and black people, whatever. But I'm thinking you want to go because that place is going to be destroyed. It may be that He's getting them out because their time is just about up.
Yeah.
So I would be looking at all the places people are being kicked out of. Now, my prayer is that they be protected, like be protected from the slave markets, be protected from all of these different things that are going on. That is my prayer.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm thinking it may be time to go because these places are purged. And if you don't want to be in purge, you don't want to be there.
That's very true. That is very true. Well, everybody, you know what? We are at the last of our show. Somebody said, "What's going on?" I don't know. Somebody said,
"What's going on in the chat?" Do you see the pound sign and what and something a pound times 27 or something? Something wild is going on there.
I have no idea. I don't know. You know, they always gonna mess with us. It's gonna
they mess with us today for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we have come to the last part of our show. It was something I wanted to show you guys, but I'll show it to you next week because I got a bunch of meetings today after the show tonight. But I have enjoyed this. Anytime we talk about us and we talk about the Most High and what